Howdy folks, welcome to our brand new episode of the Compression Vlog. This is our brand new weekly series that we upload every Tuesday right here to the Compression Network, where we debate all kinds of things like current events, political stuff, car related stuff, you name it. So subscribe and stay tuned for more on the Compression Network for more videos. And now you can follow us on Instagram for cool behind the scenes looks at the random shenanigans and happenings that we get into right here on the Compression Network. So subscribe, follow, and stay tuned. We've got more for you in the future. Right. Do you folks know what today is? Damn straight, it's April 17th. Do you know what April 17th means? That means that 55 years ago to this very day, the very first Ford Mustang debuted at I think it was the World's Fair, in 1964. Yep, the first Mustang. This is International Mustang Day. And on today's episode of the Compression Vlog, we are going to be debating my personal taste. We're going to be debating my taste with the rest of you guys about what is the best looking generation of Mustang. Not necessarily the best period, but the best looking generation of Mustang. I'm actually being followed by a Dodge Charger Daytona. That's distracting. So why don't we get started on this and see what happens. The Mustang has always been a very good looking automobile, and I think that's one of the reasons why it started such a huge revolution in the overall car market. So much so that an entire market segment, simply known as the pony car, was actually named after Ford's pony, the Mustang. It was basically Ford's special car, and truth be told, it has gathered a cult following the likes of which the world has never known. And in my opinion, personally, it has the greatest balance of overall aesthetics and looks that make it, at least, again, to me, the perfect looking car. That, of course, varies from generation to generation because they all have their own different aesthetic and appeal. The number one best looking Mustang, at least in my opinion, is none other than the very first generation of Mustang. Now, I understand that this can apply to all sorts of different Mustangs, actually, anything from 1964 to 1973. The best looking generation of the first generation is the second generation of the first generation. The first major revision, 67 and 68 Mustangs, those are the best looking, at least in my personal opinion. Give me a 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback with some Kragers on it, and you have got yourself a deal. I think the reason why I say this is because in that generation, it had just the perfect dimensions. It had the short trunk, it had the beautiful sloping fastback that went all the way to the ass end of the car, and of course, it had that nice, beautiful, classic Mustang front end that was aggressive, but not to the point where it looked like it wanted to completely kill you. It just wanted to mortally wound you, and that was a good thing. You know, it wasn't intimidating to the point of scaring people off, and I think that's why I like that generation so much. So, at least in my opinion, that is the best looking generation by a landslide. This is where things get a little finicky, because I'm not sure, and these next two are a close debate, second and third. The second best generation looking of Mustang is the 1974 to 1977 Ford Mustang II. Yes, the Mustang II. The Disgustang, the Forgotten Stallion, the Mustang that never was. All of the nicknames continue to apply. Everybody loves to hate this car. In my opinion, though, in terms of the overall aesthetics, the Mustang II kept the overall dimensions and the overall styling of the Mustang intact throughout the 1970s, at a time when the car market was changing so rapidly, it pretty much destroyed the image of the muscle car. The Mustang II, true, may not have been a performer out of the gate, but it looked damn good. Even with all the goofy, flashy stripes, the fake hood scoop, the spoilers, the splitters, all the weird stuff that the Cobra II threw at us in 1975 through 1978, it made the Mustang II look so good. A Mustang II Fastback is not that bad looking of a car as is, but the Mustang Cobra II took that to a level further and made it freaking awesome. It didn't matter that the car made less horsepower than a bad fart. The car looked good, and that's what mattered in the 70s. I may also be biased because my dad used to own a 77 Cobra II. Now, the third best looking generation of the Mustang, I would probably vote the fifth generation of Mustang before their facelift. That is 2005 to 2009. Those Mustangs captured the old school look of the very first generation Mustang, but through that kind of modern retro flair. Of all the retro cars that were attempted in the 2000s, the Mustang pulled it off, not just because it was a Mustang, but because it felt right. The Chevy SSR and the Chevy HHR, the Chrysler PT Cruiser, the Plymouth Prowler. The Plymouth Prowler is a damn good looking car in its own right. They were all trying to replicate something that really wasn't there. All of a sudden, Ford comes along with the Mustang and it spurred the whole retro vibe. Rather than just trying to resurrect the looks of a particular type of car, maybe we should resurrect the cars themselves. Chevy brought back the Camaro, Dodge brought back the Challenger. Hell, even the Charger got a facelift to make it resemble the 1969 model a little bit. That retro modernism made it so flipping awesome. And truth be told, again, all the dimensions were absolutely right on the 5th gen, at least in my opinion. They were the best looking. Car number 4, I would vote this to be the new edge Ford Mustangs, that being the ones built from 1999 to 2004, or maybe it was 98 to 2004, when Ford went with the SN95 platform but used the new edge styling theme. These Mustangs were very aggressive looking, and yet they were still like the modern taste of a Ford Mustang before they went full retro. Now, like I said, I really like the retro theme. Part of me deep down just kind of wonders, had the retro thing never happened, had the Ford Mustang just kept evolving as a sports car, what would it have looked like today? I feel like the SN95 with the new edge platform definitely leaned in that kind of direction. And I understand that the new edge platform was not well received at the time it was built, but in my opinion, those cars in general have aged a lot better than most other products of their era. Now, the next to last best looking Mustang, the 6th gen Mustang before facelift. And this is where I really start critiquing things. I am not a fan of the way they look. They look too much like a Ford. They don't look like a Mustang. The Mustang has always been the special car. And I feel like the 6th gen just didn't do that from the very beginning. It looked too much like a Ford Fusion up front. The back end, they look great. If you have a chance to sit behind one in traffic, and let's be honest, with the new 5-liter Coyotes, chances are you're probably behind one in general. Behind, they look great, but once you sit up front, they just don't really look great to me. They just don't really hit that classic retro vibe. And the same thing goes for the side profile with the windows and stuff like that. It's just not great. Speaking of which, want to rev it? Thank you! As I'm debating what the best looking Mustang is. The 6th generation, as good as that sounded, as good as the performance is, I feel like the looks, they're just not retro enough for me. I know, I'll admit, I'm biased. The 5th gen won me over and it kept me there. The 6th gen, it doesn't really float my boat. And now, the last one, the worst looking Mustang. If y'all have been keeping track of these generations as I've been doing this video, you already know the answer, and that is the Fox Body Mustang. Yes, Miss Lucy, I'm sorry, it has to be said. And it's not really any part of the Fox Body generation in particular. In my opinion, the early versions of the Fox Body looked pretty good. The thing is, the Fox Body never struck me as a Mustang. This is that whole argument. The Mustang, to me at least, is the special car. It deserved to be treated differently. The Ford Mustangs of this from 1979 through 1993, all of them looked like Ford products of their generation. The later ones, in the 90s especially, took on that whole aero theme of the other Ford products of their era. Again, in my opinion, not the best. There, I said it, yes, and Miss Lucy will probably punish me on my way home for hearing these things with her sensitive little mouse ears. But the honest to goodness truth is, I'm sorry, the Fox Body is not that great looking of a car. And while I will say that it's not the best looking car, as the owner of one, I can say they are damn fun to drive. Anyway, folks, happy Mustang Day, April 17th, 2019, the 55th anniversary of Ford's iconic pony. That is my opinion on the best looking generations of the Mustang, not necessarily the best, period. This is where y'all come in. Like, comment, subscribe. Of course, comment down below. That's more important. I don't care if I get the subscriptions or not. I just want to know what y'all think about my opinions. I'm sure some of y'all agree. I'm sure some of y'all disagree. Anyway, folks, I just want to thank y'all again for watching this video. Thank y'all for commenting and subscribing. And of course, I'll see y'all next time on the compression vlog. We'll see y'all on the flip side.